potentially some Awana storage and be able to utilize all of that and help clean up that side of the building. Now, through just some amazing gifts that have come into our church over the last few months, we were actually given an anonymous donation earmarked for this project that covers just about all of it. And as a church, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but we've done a really good job over this last year at keeping our expenditures down, and everyone's giving has been just a wonderful blessing for this church. And so we're in good shape, but we just wanted to keep you guys all up to speed with what's happening. We're looking at starting this work hopefully within the next couple weeks. Of course, if anyone's in construction knows, wood and construction materials are just going up and up and up. And this project will just allow us to have a lot more usable space, comfortable space, especially like Wednesday nights and stuff. Excuse me. When we got the kids and everything in running around, it gets almost unbearably hot in there. And so we're just starting to seal up the building, and then here at the annual meeting, we will have some more updates. Frank's going to take over here in a second, but we're working on what we've been talking about the last 6 months of the long-term plan of unification and cleaning up the outside of the building. And if anyone has any questions or wants more details on any of this, please just let me know. I'd be happy to sit down with you. I'm sure Frank's in the same position, just so that everything is out in the open and we just all understand what we're doing and what your money has been going for. Let me look at my notes and make sure I don't have anything else before I hand it over to Frank to just kind of give us a kind of an overview of what we're looking at for this project. Yeah, I think I got through what I needed. So here you go, Frank.
Thank you. So to follow up on what Jason was sharing, sort of the next step with gaining control over the fellowship hall environmentally and hopefully moving eventually towards exterior improvements, we've shared that Jerry Olson has been secured as our general contractor, who I've been working very closely with over the last few months as we've been trying to put together budget numbers. And we need $20,000, and thankfully the Lord has blessed us with a matching donation. And what that would provide is that we would remove the glass kind of in columns. That's what we think right now. And then put the wall back up. You would see sort of the layers would be OSB inside, because we see that needing to be a durable space because of chairs and storage and so forth. It's only 40 inches wide, but it's 80 feet long, and we do believe we can best utilize that. So you'd have a durable surface on the interior. It would be insulated. Most likely it's going to be a spray foam application, because that also, when it sets up, creates an extremely rigid and strong surface area. We have observed and found that the prevailing winds, which is kind of south-southwest, you can actually go out there and you can watch the wall do this number, and it's really quite scary. And because of the degradation of the trim and the molding that holds the glass in place, which is all just wood with finish nails, one of these storms is going to just suck one of those windows out, and heaven forbid if there's a child in the wrong place at the wrong time. So it's a maintenance issue, it's a liability issue. Also, we have excess heat now. And if we don't close that space off, then the air conditioning is going to fight the solar gain, and you have to stop that. So durable surface, insulation, probably a 2x6 framing wall, which is using some of the framing that's there for the windows. And then there would be an exterior OSB surface, and that will be wrapped with this beautiful looking white Tyvek paper. and that's as far as we go. And the Tyvek can handle being exposed to the weather for quite a long time, but we're hopeful that we can begin to put siding on. So understand that the $20,000 is just rebuilding, removing the glass, reframing, structuring. We haven't quite figured out the window arrangement, but the windows that are on the interior that bring natural light into the space, we want to maintain that natural light coming in. It makes it for a very pleasant environment. And Jerry and I are looking at how those windows line up with the solar glass right now. We're thinking maybe 6 of those panels may stay, whether we reorient them or have to do some reframing, but we're going to try and utilize the glass that's there to continue to bring that light into the space. There are some windows in the nursery cry room, the old kitchen, and there's one window when you go next to right here when you first go into the fellowship hall through this hallway. Those will be removed. And we are not planning to align an exterior window treatment in there. So, yeah, the kitchen will probably darken up a little bit. We just don't see the value of that expense to do that. So there is a couple of doors that are related to this. On the exterior, on the southeast corner, there's a little half door that was provided access from the exterior. We want to make that a full-size person door, partly because we need to be able to service the new furnace and air conditioning systems. And to be quite honest, it's a pain in the neck to be squeezing through this little half door and moving equipment in and out. Another door there'll be 2 doors from the inside. There's a second furnace on this end also that has to be accessed for maintenance and serviceability. And right now there's this big panel that takes 2 grown men to lift and take out, and we just want to make it easier so we can just quickly go in, change filters, change belts, lubricate. And there's where that big tall window is next to that, we actually would see that as a double door system, just because I want to be able to get in to get chairs from one end. And again, I'm trying to describe things. Hopefully you can see this in your mind, but as you go, if you're facing the wall to the far left, there's a tongue and groove wall that's the part of the kitchen. And kind of in that corner would be the second door into the storage space. And that allows a little more freedom to go left or right with chairs or go in. So there's one exterior door granting serviceability, access, and then 2 interior doors, one being double, that would allow chairs to go in and out. And the intent is to utilize the space. It's there. It will be pretty much unheated, but residual heat from the building will take care of that. Other parts of this, so that's what Jerry has quoted me a cost for, his labor and materials. It is getting difficult for him to maintain and hold on to a labor force. And I have to be able to give him some answers definitively soon, or else some of this is going to get really behind schedule. We also have to deal with the fire dampers, which was what allowed the heat to go up and into the solar loop. Those have to be closed off. And I'm performing that work as a drywall contractor. But you'll see an elevated scaffolding system out there, and you can actually look. I've removed some of the ceiling tiles, and you can see this opening. And that's where all that 100-degree temperature dumps into the building. When this drop ceiling is in place, it would travel up and then drop down, and then technically would go underneath the building and loop. That's now been obstructed. So we have to close that, and we also have to close off. There's still some remaining vents, mostly in the administrative office And in the foyer of the building, where there's the grates where you could look down into the crawl space and maybe see a snake or two. So that has to get closed off as well. In order for the whole return air circulation pattern to work properly, Wade has not put in the return ducts yet because I need space to work to hang the drywall. As soon as that gets sealed, then he can come in and put return ducts. You'll see on the south wall eventually there'll be 2 big registers, maybe 3 by 3 in size, which will draw the air once it's been into the building, it come back, and then that creates the circulation pattern. And that's the most efficient way to manage the space. So Jerry's quoted us $20,000 for his work, but the reason we're asking for this additional funds is just really some OSB flooring material, remove the grates, and these are things that the trustees and perhaps a workday project where we can do with minimal labor cost. And that should take care of it. All that is trying to be done with an eye towards the future, and we hope by the business meeting to have samples of materials. I still need a consensus from my trustee team on which way we're going. We're kind of trying to utilize a good, better, best presentation. It's like, well, this is good. This could be really good if you so want to invest the money, and I'm hoping to get the cost on those things, and we'll have that information. We won't be voting to approve anything at the business meeting. We're going to try and use the business meeting as another step in that process. But we do have to keep moving forward with the solar space at this time. Because of having the funds available, in some sense, we still are developing financial policies about thresholds of spending. Me as the trustee chair, there's nothing to say. I could just commit and sign a contract, and you guys all owe somebody $100,000. Well, I think it's shown that we need to tighten up our financial management on some of these things. What's allowable, what's not allowable? When do we bring it to the congregation? We're learning those things, and we haven't run into this situation in the past very much. So those are things that the trustees and the elders and finance team are talking about on how to proceed. So I'd be glad to entertain some questions if there's some things. There's a lot of detail in my head, but I don't want to throw too much out right now. So questions? Do I sort of see, okay, keep moving? Okay. So understand that we may live with some white Tyvek out there for a while. I don't know what the time frame is. As I've said, Jerry is only primarily dealing with this. He's assisting me working with the company that built this structure, which is Sainer Construction from Riverton. They deal with metal buildings quite a bit. We're looking at the samples from them. We're hoping to get pricing from them real soon. They've been promising me for over a month. And I hope to have that number at the business meeting. They are the big player. And they're putting together a quote with the master thought, but it's like, okay, I guess we're not going to do that. It's too much. But things are like, do I replace all the windows? Which I think we should. They were put in original windows from 1987. They're not low E glass. They're not energy efficient windows. Many of the mechanisms don't work when it's an operable window. What type of wainscoting? Is it going to be metal? Is it going to be a stone veneer? I don't know. But they're the big player. If we do continue to move forward, we have shared that we want to change the entryway on the fellowship hall. And we want to do some things over here, improving the enhancements to the entrances. All that stuff will come, and we'll try to share more at the business meeting for you. So, okay?
Thanks, Frank. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And as always, if you got any questions, just look us up. Real quick, Rebecca McDaniel wanted me to let everyone know there's a bunch of cards and stuff out on the entryway table for the care baskets they're putting together for our young adults here and those that have moved on, and they'll be putting those baskets together here. And so if you could please stop and sign some cards and just let all those young adults know that we're thinking about them and praying for them as they move forward. So thank you all for being here. Have a great Sunday and a great week. Thanks.